Light Yagami and Elaliot from Death Note exercises Promethean qualities of having ambition, innate gifts and talents, and a craving to determine the future and have a place in history. Now, Promethean derives from the Titan Prometheus, who was punished for stealing from the heavens. He wanted to change the lives of mortals, and he gave the fire that he stole to them. Prometheus was ambitious to rebel against Zeus, and used his wits to do the job. He was an intelligent trickster. Now, Prometheans are not stereotypically bad, as they can use their traits for the greater good when they will it so. Now, Death Note takes place in a world where people's lives are often subject to the wills of Shinigami, or gods of death, and humans who have access to powerful notebooks. If one writes a person's name in the notebook, then they will die. One Shinigami, Ryuk, drops a notebook into the human world because he was sick of his mundane life.
This is all so ridiculous. This world is rotting.
Now, unfortunately, Light Yagami had the urge to pick it up.
Do you want anything at all,
After
dear?
testing it out himself, he began to believe that
No,
he
I'm
was
fine,
an
Mom.
enlightened
Thanks, though.
being who had been chosen to rid the world of evil as a god.
Got what I want.
Not long after, El picks up on Light's intentions and organizes an investigation to stop the killing sprees. The two embodies the qualities of a typical Promethean figure. Light began to schedule his time in such a way so that he could live an ordinary life while keeping his Kira side active. He allots a certain time for cram school and other activities and continues to stay at the top of his class even upon entering college. He religiously includes a period where he explosively writes criminals' names in the Death Note. Now, he has a personal stake, as he was a constant witness to his classmates talking gossip, and he saw men harass women at a convenience store, and a helpless kid getting ganged up by a bunch of bullies.
Do you want
He had to
anything
absorb
at
all
dear?
this
You can
negativity,
ask away.
despite the fact that
No,
he
I'm
was
fine,
considered
Mom. Thanks, though.
perfect student. He was a valedictorian in his class,
I've already got
an
what I
all-Japan junior champion in tennis in his early teens. He hated his lifestyle, finding no sense of satisfaction in any task. In other words, he felt as if there was no purpose in life. When he received the notebook, he embodied a new energy for change. He even went as far as to give up his soul to make his dream a reality.
I certainly wasn't expecting this. Several Death Notes have made their way into the human world in the past, but you're the first to have written this many names.
Now, El is the polar opposite of Light. He believes that whatever the reason may be, murder is always wrong. El has taken on countless cases and has won every single one of them. He, along with police headquarters, champion a different definition of what is considered right and wrong.
What is truly evil is the power to kill people.
I think you're absolutely right. If Kira is just a normal person who somehow obtained this awful power, I would say that he's cursed.
Elaliot is a world-class detective that took matters to his own hands to find Light. He's an orphan who happened to be a genius, and he got specially trained, and he spends his life to allow good to prevail. And he was able to narrow down the investigation to Light City in less than a month. He does this by broadcasting a double of him in the Kanto region only, prompting Light to kill the double on the spot. The double was actually a criminal who was supposed to be sentenced to execution, by the way. Light felt as if he won for a split second, but then he just entered El's trap. Through the long, careful analysis of Light's earlier killings, which amounted to nearly thousands at this point, he was able to narrow his location down. He was also able to understand how Light was able to kill only if he had access to a name and a face through the death of Lyndell Taylor. Light was bestowed the power to kill anyone he wants thanks to Ryuk's boredom one day. Light and Ryuk have an inseparable bond now, and Light is the only one who is able to see him.
Death Note is the bond between
Light has a gift of initiative and problem solving. He was also blessed to be a genius who can batter up a solution almost instantaneously after being confronted with a problem. When one woman, Naomi Misora, happens to find out a lead that could blow Light's cover, Light tries to convince her to give him her name. As Naomi becomes more suspicious of why Light is so interested in her, Light is able to sway her. saying that he's a part of the task force himself and that he can directly relay her testimony to El himself. Light is a very sly fox, and he can convince anyone of anything. He considers himself a god, and he even has an angel in a sense. One girl who also has a death note, Miss Amane, swears obedience to Light's every word out of gratitude for Light's cause and love for his looks.
I'll try my hardest to make you love me.
Light effortlessly keeps up a Hannah Montana lifestyle every day while he is investigated by El. El chose to place surveillance cameras in the houses of the families of the team members, as Light is able to receive confidential police data on the criminals. I mean, it's pretty convenient that Light's father is the police officer who works for El. Even while the police are observing his every action, he's still able to kill criminals without watching.
I can continue to kill criminals whose names are broadcast on the news, while masquerading as a typical high school student studying for his entrance exams. Just watch me, El. I'll solve equations with my right hand and write names with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Now, at first glance, El looks like a college dropout. He wears the same outfit every day, and he has panda eyes that seem like he's goth.
By the way, are you going to eat that piece of cake?
Cake makes you fat. I'm not gonna eat any.
Actually, I found that you don't gain any weight as long as you burn calories by using your brain.
He only eats sweets, and he sits in an interesting position every single time.
I don't sit like this because I want to. I have to sit like this. You see, if I were to sit normally, my deductive skills would immediately be reduced by roughly 40%.
He's gifted in the fact that he has always won a case, and the entire police believes that El is never ever wrong.
He's managed to solve every case he's ever taken on, and he's tackled some of the greatest mysteries this world has ever known. He hides in the shadows, but he's the best of the best. A last resort, our trump card.
El has the gift of focus and knowledge, where he devotes his time solving cases and finding criminals. He suffers from crippling insomnia as a result of the fast pace of his brain. Light wants to rid the world of evil as soon as possible, often killing people who oppose his view to speeding up the process. Before he killed his first two victims, he went into a spiral of guilt. He thought that he was responsible. But then he determined that these coincidences were for a reason. He believed that he was chosen to pass righteous judgment on everyone.
Maybe I'm wrong. This is exactly what I've been thinking about lately. This world is rotting, and those who are making it rot deserve to die. Someone has to do it, so why not me? Even if it means sacrificing my own mind and soul, it's worth it. Because the world can't go on like this. I wonder, what if someone else had picked up this notebook? Is there anyone out there other than me who'd be willing to eliminate the vermin from the world?
El propels Light to fight for his cause even harder than before because he's a narcissist. He deems his judgment as correct, and he does not want anyone to stand in his way. Light grew up getting everything he ever wanted and being the smartest in his class. This created an insensitivity towards opposition. He does not want anyone to ruin his future utopia. The fire was ignited because of El, and Light became even more serious after falling into El's trap, causing him to be humiliated and his ego to be shaken. El believes that this is the most important case, as he is responsible for far more deaths than ever recorded in history. El is seen as the shining hope of Japan in the world, and all of the police department are respectful in his presence.
I accept your challenge, El.
Each of them has to hunt down the other without knowing the other's name or face, and the first one whose identity is revealed will die. Humans are so much fun.
El, Kira. I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding, and I will eliminate you. I am justice.
Now, how is this even considered the best anime of all time? We can see Light and El's motive through both of their eyes. Light is viewed as a protagonist, while El is considered an antagonist. Light initially had good intentions about the power of the notebook, but he started recklessly and lost his way after only one episode. I mean, he completely abused the power of the notebook when he had the opportunity, and he did not take a second thought after writing the names down. He found that death is the only option for people who stood in his way. Now, Light probably doesn't even know what forgiveness means. Light fails to understand that it is not a person who is evil, but the action that is evil. Evil is not something tangible, and a mere mortal like Light, who barely knows any of the criminals, has no right to take final judgment into his own hands. Light and L use their gifts in opposite ways, in which Light uses it for the bad, and L uses it for the good. Tools have an intended purpose, along with our gifts, and if we fail to follow that intended purpose, we dive into a terrible loop until we choose to get back on track. This show is a wake-up call to apply the objective moral law into daily life, and to appreciate the dignity and life of all people. As we are all made from the same matter, similar to the quote, "We are made of stardust," each human is just one star in the sky, and we cannot be judging other people's light, no matter how ugly or beautiful it may be. We all have the right to shine in our own ways. I mean, Light thought he was a god, where in reality he was just a high school student who didn't know any better. We have not even tapped all the information the universe withholds. Once L said, "No matter how gifted you are, you cannot change the world." Someone might notice a lone star in the sky, but constellations are much more captivating. We are hardwired to be better together and to be there for one another.